Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Gibbs Drops the Needle. I'm Gibbs. Unfortunately, another passing in the music world to report on today, as Bonnie Tyler has passed away at the age of 75. This story starts back at May 6th of 2026 when Tyler underwent emergency surgery in Faro, Portugal, where she had lived to treat a perforated intestine. And then she was placed in an induced coma in the intensive care unit. When doctors attempted to bring her out of the coma, she suffered a cardiac arrest and was resuscitated. On May 12th, her spokesman said she remained seriously ill but stable, and that her doctors were optimistic about her making a full recovery. On June 15th, Bonnie Tyler woke up from her medically induced coma, although she remained very unwell. She passed away on July 8th at the age of 75 from the illness for which she had been receiving treatment. So, sounded like she had been sick and not doing well for a couple months now and has now passed away. So, as we do in these times of someone passing away, we are going to go over her life and career. She had a very long career and a lot to go over, so we'll go ahead and get started. Bonnie Tyler was born Gaynor Hopkins on June 8th of 1951 in Sgwydden, Neath, Wales. Her father, Glyndwr Hopkins, was a coal miner and Second World War serviceman, and her mother, Elise Hopkins, was a homemaker. She grew up in a 4-bedroom council house with 3 sisters and 2 brothers, and was exposed to a variety of singers and genre through her siblings, including Elvis Presley, Frank Sinatra, and the Beatles. Frankie Miller was the first live act that Bonnie Tyler saw, and she later recorded duets with him. Hopkins attended Rydear Comprehensive School in Neath, left at age 16 with no qualifications, and began working in a grocery shop. She and her family were deeply religious Protestants. Her first public performance was in a chapel as a child, singing the Anglican hymn All Things Bright and Beautiful. In April of 1969, Hopkins was entered into a local talent competition by her aunt and came second to an accordion player. Inspired to pursue a singing career, she worked as a backing singer for Bobby Wayne and the Dixies before forming her own band, Imagination. Around this time, she changed her name to Shireen Davis to avoid confusion with Welsh folk singer Mary Hopkin. In 1975, Davis was spotted singing with her band in Townsman Club in Swansea by talent scout Roger Bell, who invited her to London to record a demo track. After several months, she received a phone call from RCA Records offering her a recording contract. They also recommended that she change her name again. After compiling a list of surnames and first names from a newspaper, Davis chose the name Bonnie Tyler. Ronnie Scott and Steve Wolf became her managers, songwriters, and producers. My Honeycomb was released as her debut single in April of 1976, but did not chart. In September of 1976, as part of a promotional campaign for Tyler's next single, Lost in France, RCA Records allocated €4,000 for a strategic initiative that involved sending 30 music journalists and radio DJs to Les Toquettes, France, where they met Tyler over a 4-course meal. Lost in France peaked at number 9 in the UK and led to Tyler's first appearance on Top of the Pops. More Than a Lover followed in January of 1977. Due to the perceived sexual nature of its lyrics, it was banned from the new British children's TV series Get It Together. Though surprised, Tyler said that she was grateful for the extra publicity. It peaked at number 27 in the UK. Bonnie Tyler's debut album, The World Starts Tonight, was released in 1977 in the month of February. To promote it, she embarked on her first UK tour as a guest artist with Gene Pitney. The album failed to chart in the UK but reached number 2 in Sweden. In spring of 1977, Bonnie Tyler underwent surgery to remove vocal cord nodules and was advised by her doctor to rest her voice for 6 weeks. She instead screamed in frustration one day, resulting in a permanent raspy tone. In July of 1977, Tyler released her 4th single, Heaven, which peaked at number 24 in Germany. She attributed its underwhelming performance elsewhere to the death of Elvis Presley in August of 1977, after which RCA redirected its focus to reissuing Presley's back catalog. It's a Headache followed in November of 1977 and became one of Tyler's most successful singles, peaking at number 4 in the UK and number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Here Am I was released in April of 1978 and peaked at number 4 in Norway. David Mackay parted ways with Ronnie Scott and Steve Wolf in 1977, and Gordon Mills briefly took over as her manager. Mills organized her first tour of the United States in July of 1978, including several nights at the Greek Theater in Los Angeles supporting Tom Jones. Tyler's second album, Natural Force, was released in May of 1978. It was certified gold by the Recording Industry Association of America, with sales of over 500,000 copies. Scott and Wolf produced Bonnie Tyler's third album, Diamond Cut, with Robin Jeffrey Cable. Released in February of 1979, it was a top 20 record in Finland, Norway, and Sweden, but only reached 145 in the US. Bonnie Tyler felt that RCA was pushing her to record more country-oriented music, which frustrated her. The album yielded one major hit, My Guns Are Loaded, which peaked at number 10 on the Canadian AC chart. In the summer of 1979, Tyler had another UK top 40 hit with The World Is Full of Married Men. She recorded it for a film adaptation of Jackie Collins' novel of the same name, and she performed the song during the film's closing title. In November of 1979, Bonnie Tyler represented the UK at the Yamaha World Popular Song Festival in Japan. She won the Grand Prix International Award for her performance of Sitting on the Edge of the Ocean, written by Scott and Wolf. They co-produced her 4th album, Goodbye to the Island, with Hugh Murphy. Released in 1981, it only charted in Norway. RCA invited her to extend her contract for another 5 years, but she declined, expressing disillusionment with her artistic image and noting a scarcity of performance opportunities in the aftermath of several unsuccessful singles. After her contract with RCA expired, Tyler signed with CBS/Columbia. A&R executive Muff Winwood asked her to scout a new producer. She considered Phil Collins, Jeff Lynne, and Alan Tarney, but Jim Steinman was her first choice. Quote, I'm a huge fan of his records, especially his solo album, and when my manager and I were discussing my comeback, we both agreed that I had to sound the best or nobody would take me seriously, end quote. Steinman initially declined but reconsidered after Tyler sent him demos of the rock material she had hoped to record. After their initial meeting, Tyler returned to Steinman's apartment in New York a few weeks later, where she performed Total Eclipse of the Heart with Rory Dodd. Steinman described the song as, quote, a Wagnerian-like onslaught of sound and emotion, and a showpiece for Tyler's voice, end quote. Her 5th album was partially recorded at the Power Station in New York with members of the E Street Band, who is probably better known for playing with Bruce Springsteen, Rick Derringer on guitar, Dodd and Eric Throyer on backing vocals, and Steinman as the producer. Total Eclipse of the Heart was released in the UK on February 11th of 1983. It became one of the best-selling singles of all time with over 6 million units sold. Her 5th studio album, Faster Than the Speed of Light, debuted at number 1 on the UK Albums Chart and reached number 3 on the US Cashbox Chart and number 4 on the US Billboard 200. selling over 1 million copies in the United States. Tyler's commercial success led to several award nominations, including 2 Grammys, 2 AMAs, and a Brit Award. She was named Best Recording Artist at the Variety Club of Great Britain Awards, and she received a Goldene Europa. Tyler also found success with several soundtrack recordings in the mid-80s. In 1984, she released Holding Out for a Hero from the Footloose soundtrack. The following year, her recording of Here She Comes for Giorgio Moroder's restoration of the 1927 film Metropolis earned her a Grammy nomination for Best Female Rock Vocal Performance. Tyler also declined an offer to record the theme for the James Bond spin-off Never Say Never Again. In 1986, Tyler released her 6th studio album, Secret Dreams of Forbidden Fire. In another collaboration with Steinman, the album also featured songs written by Desmond Child and Bryan Adams and a cover of Freda Payne's Band of Gold. If You Were a Woman and I Was a Man became the album's most successful single, selling over 250,000 units in France. The music video, directed by Steinman and Stuart Orme, received 6 nominations at the Billboard Video Music Conference. In 1987, Tyler collaborated with Mike Oldfield on the title track to his album Islands. The following year, she played Polly Gartner in George Martin's album Under Milk Wood, a radio drama by Dylan Thomas. The music was composed by Elton John and featured vocal contributions from Tom Jones, Anthony Hopkins, and Mary Hopkin. Bonnie Tyler asked Desmond Child to produce her 7th album, Hide Your Heart, which was released on May 9th of 1988. The album featured collaborations with Michael Bolton, Albert Hammond, and Diane Warren. Its singles, Hide Your Heart, Save Up All Your Tears, and The Best became major hits for other artists. Also, in 1987, she collaborated with Brazilian singer Fabio Junior on the bilingual album Sem Lementes pra Sonhar, including the lead single Sem Lementes pra Sonhar, Reaching for the Infinite Heart. In 1990, Bonnie Tyler signed to Hansa/BMG Ariola and began working with various producers for her 8th studio album. She collaborated with Dieter Bohlen, Giorgio Moroder, Nick Kershaw, and Roy Bittan. Quote, "We used so many producers in efforts to capture many different moods for many different territories because we believed in the international crossover potential of Tyler," end quote. That was a statement by David Brunner and our manager for Hansa. So I think they named 5 producers for that album, and they said that that was a lot for that time because they wanted to get some different moods. And I noticed going through albums that are made today, you have usually that many producers on it. So I kind of wonder if maybe that's why they still use that many producers now, is to obtain different moods and feelings for the albums instead of just using a single producer. So kind of interesting to hear that she was using 5 producers at that time, and you see so many albums now with that many producers as well. Going on, Bitter Blue was released on November 11th of 1991. In a retrospective review, AllMusic's Thomas Moreca noted that the album marked a, quote, much more mainstream and less bombastic, end quote, direction in Bonnie Tyler's career. The title track was issued a month before the album and became a top 40 hit in several European countries. It was named Catchy Song of the Year at the RSH Gold Awards. In the following year, Bitter Blue was released as a promotional single in the US, where it was met with criticism. Billboard wrote that, quote, bombastic production with a rush of bagpipes and a choir of chirping children at the forefront overpower Tyler's distinctive raspy voice, end quote. Although Bitter Blue was never released in the UK or the US, the album was a commercial success in mainland Europe. It topped the charts in Austria and Norway, achieving 4 times platinum status in Norway with 11 weeks at number 1. Tyler's subsequent albums, Angel Heart, that was released in 1992, and Silhouette in Red, which was released in 1993, were also successful in mainstream Europe. Both albums featured a greater share of songs written and produced by Dieter Bohlen. Tyler was named Best International Singer at the Goldene Europa Awards in 1993 and Best Pop/Rock Singer at the Echo Awards in 1994. In 1995, Tyler moved to East West Records and released Free Spirit. The album featured collaborations with several producers, including Humberto Gatica, David Foster, and Steinman. The lead single, a cover of Air Supply's Making Love Out of Nothing at All, reached number 45 on the UK singles chart in January of 1996. The album was re-released in March of 1996, featuring a cover of Limelight by the Alan Parsons Project. The track was used as a theme for the German team at the 1996 Summer Olympics in Atlanta, Georgia. Bonnie Tyler's 12th studio album, All in One Voice, was released in 1998. Much of the album was recorded with Jimmy Smith in Dublin and Harold Faltermeyer in Hamburg. Also in 1998, Bonnie Tyler appeared on Rick Wakeman's orchestral album Return to the Center of the Earth, performing on the song Is There Anybody There? The album also included narration from Star Trek actor Patrick Stewart and vocals from Ozzy Osbourne, Katrina Leskanich, and Justin Hayward. On September 14th of 2001, Bonnie Tyler released her greatest hits, a compilation album containing 17 tracks. It entered the UK albums chart at number 18 and was certified silver by the British phonographic industry for sales of over 60,000 units. Greatest Hits also reached the top 10 in 5 other European countries. In 2002, she began working on her 13th studio album, Heartstrings. EMI approached her with the idea of recording a covers album with an orchestra and Tyler's band. She selected 13 songs by artists such as U2, The Beatles, and Bruce Springsteen. The arrangements were written by Nick Ingman and Carl Jenkins and performed by the City of Prague Philharmonic Orchestra. Heartstrings was released on March 18th of 2003 and was followed by a tour in Germany. The album charted in 3 European countries. In 2003, vocalist Corinne Anton invited Tyler to re-record Total Eclipse of the Heart as a bilingual duet in French and English. The new version, retitled Si Demain, or Turn Around, was released in December of 2003. It went to number 1 in Belgium and France, where it remained at the top for 10 weeks and sold over 500,000 units. The success of the single was regarded as Tyler's comeback in France and received strongly positive reviews from the music critics. Tyler's 14th studio album, Simply Believe, was released in April of 2004. It featured 7 new songs alongside various re-recordings and covers. Tyler and Anton re-recorded Si Tot Serarte, which is It's a Heartache, as a second bilingual duet. It peaked at number 12 in France. Tyler co-wrote the title track and 2 additional songs with producers Jean Lassine. Simply Believe spent 23 weeks on the French album charts and peaked at number 18. Bonnie Tyler released her 15th studio album, Wings, in spring of 2005, recorded in Paris. It featured 12 new songs, 2 of which were also recorded in French, as well as new versions of Total Eclipse of the Heart and It's a Heartache. She promoted the album with an extensive European tour, including a televised performance at the Sopot International Song Festival in Poland, and recorded concerts at La Cigale in Paris and the Fiestas de Pilar in Zaragoza, Spain. Footage from all 3 concerts appeared on Tyler's live DVD, Bonnie on Tour, released in 2006. Wings was issued in the UK in 2006 under the title Celebrate. Tyler also received the Lifetime Achievement Steiger Award in 2005. In 2006, Tyler made her first appearance on U.S. television in several years when she performed Total Eclipse of the Heart with actress Lucy Lawless on Celebrity Duets. In January of 2007, Tyler recorded a new version of the song with the punk band Baby Pink Star. It peaked at number 40 on the UK Independent Singles Chart. In March, she released From the Heart Greatest Hits, which reached number 2 in Ireland and number 31 in the UK. In April of 2009, Tyler joined Welsh male voice choir Only Men Allowed on their UK tour to perform Total Eclipse of the Heart. They recorded the song for their second studio album, Band of Brothers, which was released in October. In the same year, she also recorded the title song for Mal Pope's musical Cappuccino Girls and performed it on the opening night at Swansea's Grand Theatre. Tyler also made a cameo on Hollyoaks later, singing Holding Out for a Hero in a dream sequence featuring Carmel McQueen. In 2010, Tyler appeared in a television advertisement for MasterCard singing a parody of Total Eclipse of the Heart. She released Something Going On with country singer Wayne Warner and a new version of Making Love Out of Nothing at All with Matt Petrin in July and August, respectively. In October, she toured Australia and New Zealand with Robin Gibb. In 2011, Bonnie Tyler appeared on the Swedish TV show The Evening Is Yours, performing Total Eclipse of the Heart with singer Nicholas Polstrom. Tyler also performed It's a Heartache. She made a guest appearance in the music video Newport, a parody of Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' Empire State of Mind, for BBC Comic Relief. That year, Tyler received an award at the BMI London Awards after It's a Heartache surpassed 3 million airplays on U.S. television and radio since its release in 1977. She also appeared on the Ukrainian version of The X Factor as one of 3 British guests alongside Kylie Minogue and Cher Lloyd, performing It's a Heartache, Total Eclipse of the Heart, and Holding Out for a Hero. In December of 2011, a portrait of Bonnie Tyler by Rolf Harris, owned by Kathy Sims, was valued at €50,000 on BBC's Antiques Roadshow. In September of 2011, Tyler released a new compilation, Best of 3 CD, which charted at number 36 in France. The album included a cover of Eternal Flame by the Bangles, recorded as a French-English duet with Laura Zen and released as a single. In early 2012, Tyler began working on her 16th album, Rocks and Honey. She traveled to Nashville, Tennessee in search of material and recorded the album at Blackbird Studios with producer David Huff. Tyler sent the album to BBC ahead of its release for feedback. After hearing the third track, Believe in Me, they asked her to represent the UK with the song at the Eurovision Song Contest in 2013. Although initially reluctant, Tyler accepted, describing Eurovision as, quote, great publicity for my album, end quote. Tyler was announced as the UK's entrant on March 7th of 2013 and received mixed reaction. Believe in Me was released on March 13th and peaked at number 93 in the UK. As a member of the Big Five, the UK automatically qualified for the Eurovision Grand Final on May 18th. Tyler finished in 19th place with 23 points. Reacting to the result, she said, quote, I did the best that I could do with a great song, adding, I'm so glad and so happy that I did it because it was an incredible experience. It was like the Grammy Awards all over again, end quote. Following the contest, Bonnie Tyler became the first UK representative to receive a Eurovision Song Contest Radio Award, winning Best Song and Best Female Singer. Rocks and Honey was released on May 6th of 2013 in the UK and peaked at number 52 on the UK Albums Chart. The album title referred to the contrast between Tyler and Vince Gill's voice on their duet, What You Need From Me, which was likened to Rocks and Honey. This Is Gonna Hurt and Love Is the Knife were released as the second and third singles in August and September of 2013, though neither charted. In 2014, Tyler released Miserere on Rididian Roberts' album One Day Like This, and Fortune on Spike's album 100% Pure Frankie Miller. In June of 2015, Bonnie Tyler appeared on Die Schansten Disney Songs Aller Zeiten, a one-off televised celebration of Disney music in Germany, performing Circle of Life from The Lion King. In September of 2015, she performed Total Eclipse of the Heart and Holding Out for a Hero on Best Time Ever with Neil Patrick Harris, Nicole Scherzinger, and Alec Baldwin. In 2016, Tyler featured on Frankie Miller's album Double Take. In March of 2017, she released a new single, Love's Holding On, with German metal band Axel Rudi Pell. In August of 2017, Bonnie Tyler performed Total Eclipse of the Heart aboard the MS Oasis of the Seas with American dance rock band Dance to mark the solar eclipse of August 21st of 2017. The song saw an increase of 31,000 online downloads, leading to placement at number 13 on the Billboard Digital Songs chart. Kind of interesting that they had a digital songs chart. I wonder if they still have a digital songs chart or if they just assume that all music is listened to digitally now, so they don't even bother having a separate chart. In November, she released a new compilation, Remixes and Rarities, which debuted numerous tracks from her back catalog that had previously appeared on CD. In March of 2018, Bonnie Tyler embarked on a 22-date tour of Germany and Austria to celebrate the 40th anniversary of It's a Heartache, with Sharon Levy as support. In February of 2019, Tyler released Hold On as the lead single from her 17th studio album, Between the Earth and the Stars. The album followed in March and peaked at number 34 on the UK albums chart. It was recorded with David McKay, who had produced Bonnie Tyler's first two albums in the 1970s. Between the Earth and the Stars featured 3 duets with Rod Stewart, Francis Rossi, and Cliff Richard. Tyler embarked on a 23-date European tour in April of 2019, culminating in an appearance at BBC's Prom in the Park in Hyde Park, and a headline concert at the London Palladium in September. Her show at the El Olympia in Paris was filmed and released through Canal+. In August of 2019, Cherry Red Records issued a red box set compiling Tyler's first 4 studio albums. Classic Pop described the RCA years as, quote, a thoroughly researched 4-CD set, end quote. In November of 2019, Tyler made a guest appearance at Ben Zucker's concert at the Mercedes-Benz Arena in Berlin to sing It's a Heartache. Their duet appeared on his live album Versat das Zugabe, released in May of 2020. In December of 2019, Tyler released a new version of her 2005 song Streets of Stone for the World's Big Sleep Out, an international homeless charity event. On December 14th, she performed at the Vatican's annual Concerte di Natale in the presence of Pope Francis. In May of 2020, Tyler released Through Thick and Thin, I'll Stand By You with Lorraine Crosby as a charity single in aid of the Teenage Cancer Trust. It reached number 64 on the UK downloads chart. Her latest studio album, The Best Is Yet to Come, followed in February 2021. On September 2nd of 2022, Tyler and Mike Batt released their duet Into the Sunset as a digital single. The track had originally appeared on the soundtrack of The Dreamstone in 1990. In October of 2022, Tyler performed Total Eclipse of the Heart live with the cast of Tanz der Vampire in Stuttgart to mark the musical's 25th anniversary. In November of 2022, Tyler embarked on her first tour of South America with 8 dates in Brazil and 1 date in Uruguay. Her memoir, Straight from the Heart, was published by Coronet Books on September 28th of 2023. On April 19th of 2024, Tyler released her third live album in Berlin, recorded at the Admiralspalast during her Between the Earth and the Stars live tour on May 8th of 2019. The album was preceded by its first single, Faster Than the Speed of Night, on March 22nd of 2024. In September of 2024, Tyler performed at the Plain Hotel for an event hosted by Philip Plain as part of Milan Fashion Week. On December 31st of 2024, Tyler performed her new single, Yes I Can, on Sylvester Schlagerboom 2025. On July 4th of 2025, Bonnie Tyler released Together, produced by David Guetta and Hypaton. It reached number 4 on the French Airplay chart and was certified gold for an equivalent of 15 million streams. The track featured newly recorded vocals from Bonnie Tyler with lyrics interpolated from the chorus of Total Eclipse of the Heart. In March of 2026, Tyler released Only Love and premiered it live during a concert at the O2 Shepherd's Bush Empire in London. As far as Bonnie Tyler's influences go, Bonnie Tyler's two biggest influences from a young age were Janis Joplin and Tina Turner. She cited River Deep, Mountain High as being her all-time favorite song. Other artists that influenced Tyler in her youth included Aretha Franklin, Wilson Pickett, Meatloaf, Joe Cocker, Dusty Springfield, and Tommy Steele. She also expressed admiration for contemporary artists such as Guns N' Roses, Anastasia, Toni Braxton, Duffy, and Eminem, and said she hoped to collaborate with Adele, whom she described as a great songwriter, singer, and performer. Bonnie Tyler's vocal style was described as containing elements of country, rock, pop, blues, and Celtic. Her voice was likened to Rod Stewart and Kim Carnes following her vocal cord nodule operation in the 1970s, and she was sometimes referred to as the female Rod Stewart. After her collaborations with Steinman, she was also dubbed the female Meatloaf. Soon after her operation, while recording her second album, Natural Force, the studio band complimented the change in her voice. Reviewers from AllMusic described Tyler's voice as wonderfully gritty and an effective instrument that drew notice to her first managers, Scott and Wolf. In a review of Rocks and Honey, OMH Media described Tyler's vocals as being, quote, good for only one thing, and that's belting out gravely vocals, end quote, suggesting that she sounded like Johnny Cash in his later years when she tries to restrain her voice. With reference to her modern voice, the Yorkshire Times wrote that Tyler's voice had, quote, still got what it takes to make you tingle, end quote. Steinman told People magazine that he wrote Total Eclipse of the Heart as a showpiece for Tyler's voice. AllMusic said that her voice produced the perfect type of desperate, lovelorn effect to suit the romantic lyrics. Bonnie Tyler's songwriting had never been a significant part of her career. She wrote a handful of B-side and other tracks. Gonna Get Better, a B-side to the 1980 Japanese single Sayonara Tokyo, was written with her brother Paul Hopkins. In 2001, Tyler co-wrote 4 songs with Gary Pickett Hopkins on his GPH album and duetted with him on the track Loving You Means Leaving You. Tyler was also involved in writing several tracks for her 2005 album Wings, including single Louise and Celebrate. As well as her impressive impact on music, she also used it as a platform for charity work. She was featured in 3 charity supergroups. In 1986, she joined the Anti-Heroin Project to record It's a Livin' World, with proceeds donated to the Phoenix House Charities, which funded heroin recovery centers in the UK. The following year, she appeared as a chorus vocalist in the British-American charity group Fairy Aid, who released a cover of the Beatles' Let It Be to support victims of the Zeebrugge disaster. The single sold over 500,000 copies in the UK and topped the charts for 3 weeks. In 1990, Tyler joined Rock Against Repetition to record a cover of Sailing, released as a protest song against the repatriation of Vietnamese boat people who had fled to Hong Kong. The single peaked at number 89 on the UK singles chart. From the 1990s, Tyler was a patron of Bobath Children's Therapy Centre in Cardiff, who provides care for children with cerebral palsy. In 2013, she campaigned for Bobath to be recognized at the Pride of Britain Awards. She was also an ambassador for the Noah Arks Children's Hospital of Wales. In January of 2005, Tyler performed at the Rock for Asia benefit concert in Ingolstadt, Germany, raising funds for the victims of the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. The event was recorded and released on DVD. In 2007, she recorded I Don't Know How to Love Him for Over the Rainbow, a charity album conceptualized by Anika Rice on Challenge Anika. The album reached number 1 on the UK compilation charts, with proceeds going to the Association of Children's Hospices. On November 1st of 2009, Tyler performed as the headline act at the Pinktober Women in Rock concert at the Royal Albert Hall in London. The following year, she co-headlined a benefit concert with Leo Sayer in New Zealand, raising funds for Variety, the children's charity. In 2012, Tyler was named patron of the AAG Animal Charity Association in Guai, Portugal. She re-recorded Holding Out for a Hero for the 2013 Children in Need appeal. In 2014, she endorsed the BUA Fees campaign to make it mandatory for animals used in testing laboratories to be rehomed. In 2020, Tyler contributed a cover of the Alan Parsons Project's Don't Answer Me to raise funds for Bergamo, an Italian city severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. So such a busy life lived by Bonnie Tyler. If she wasn't creating new music, it seemed like she was using her music to try to help others. So hard to believe she could fit in a personal life, but she was able to do that as well. In July of 1973, Bonnie Tyler married Robert Sullivan, a property developer and 1972 Olympic judo competitor. They had no children because Bonnie Tyler sadly miscarried when she was at the age of 39. From 1988, Bonnie Tyler and her husband owned a 5-bedroom home in Albufeira in the Algarve in southern Portugal. She had recorded one of her albums there in the late 1970s, and the couple spent much of their year there. In 2005, Tyler was filmed in the Algarve for the Polish entertainment TV show Zacize Gwiz, which is Stars Retreat, which explored the house of actors and musicians. So, kind of like a MTV Cribs, I'm guessing. Tyler and Sullivan invested in property. As of 1999 interview, they owned farmland in Portugal and New Zealand, 22 houses in Berkshire and London, and 65 stables offering horseboarding services. In a 2013 interview, she stated that the farm in New Zealand had been converted to a dairy farm 12 years after they purchased the land, and that she and Sullivan also owned a quarry. With news of her passing spreading, there were some that took to give tribute to her, as Sir Cliff Richard called her, quote, another wonderful friend gone too soon, end quote, while Bryan Adams said she had, quote, such a great voice, end quote. Carol Vorderman said Tyler's music represented, quote, fighting and power and living life without apology, end quote. A Downing Street spokesman said Prime Minister Keir Starmer was saddened by the news and described Tyler as one of Britain's greatest recording artists. So a huge legacy left behind by Bonnie Tyler, and just an impressive career. I mean, what did we get up to? 18 studio albums? That's a lot of music. That's spanning a lot of decades, and just an impact that'll last so long, with definitely those iconic songs that she continued to perform throughout her career. Holding Out for a Hero is a big motivational song, and Total Eclipse of the Heart is another great song that will probably be immortalized. And she just had such a great career, and probably more of a European hit than a US hit, but still impactful all the same when it comes to the world of music. It's not just what's popular and what Americans consider impactful, it's having a worldwide impact, and that's something that Bonnie Tyler obviously did. She was definitely really popular in European countries. I did also read it wasn't in all of that, but she is still the only Welsh born singer to have a song on the Billboard Hot 100. So, not only making an impact for music and putting out good music that gets recognized, but being an impact for where she's from. And putting aside everything that she accomplished on a music front, I'm sure she was probably more proud of the charitable work and the different fundraising and support she was able to provide because of her platform. Just a great life, great legacy, many awards and accomplishments, and as always, I send my thoughts and prayers to the family, friends, and fans of Bonnie Tyler. That's all I got for you this time. I'm Gibbs. This is Gibbs Drops the Needle. Stay safe and be kind.